I want to talk about distractions and how easy it is to be distracted nowadays, and kind of how to mitigate that, right? So the issues that come with being distracted is that even when you're working towards something, you you can still be distracted. So, for example, let's say you're working on making content, right? Digital content, and instead of making said content, you're focusing on how to do said content. I mean, and this kind of goes to anything you could think of. So, let's say you're playing sports, and instead of focusing on buying a basketball, what the I hope you guys can hear this because this is gonna me up. Correction, it would already me up, but we'll keep pressing. So let's say you're playing basketball or trying to, and instead of buying a basketball and just getting on the court, you spend like 3 months figuring out what the best shoes are. I've mentioned this before plenty of times. It's one of my worst habits, and I think that's one of those elements of being distracted, even when you're focused, because you're focused, but your focus is on the wrong thing, right? So how can you expect to play basketball or be a good basketball player if you're so too busy trying to figure out which sneakers are the best ones, and which sneakers are the best for asphalt versus or outdoor courts, indoor courts, whatever, right? There's no replacement for actually putting in the work and just getting things done. That's why, again, you have to be focused on the right things that push your metrics or push the bar and essentially move the needle, because there's no shortage of distractions. And before I keep repeating myself, I'll end with that. So there's one thing I want you to take away from this video is specificity. Now, when you want to focus on something and actually get progress, you need to be specific. So I'll use myself as an example. I told myself I want to build on X, the platform, and I want to grow as a creator. So that's not specific enough, because that's not the same thing. So saying I want to grow on X or grow on YouTube or etc. is not the same thing as I'm going to produce written content every day for a week, or weekly, or I'm going to produce a long form video a week if you're on YouTube, for example. So being that specific, that allows you to place your focus on inputs rather than outputs. Because if I say I'm going to grow on X and then I'm not specific about it, but then I'm kind of fixated on the data, well, the data is going to do what it's going to do in terms of metrics and like algorithms, likes, engagement. But if I focus on the inputs, what I'm doing specifically on that, eventually the metrics should line up to me, right? The things I can't control, how many people look at my stuff, how many times people click off or whatever. I can't control those outcomes, but I can definitely control incomes or inputs that can eventually lead to better outcomes or outputs. So that's why I mean be specific, and in terms of specificity in the action it's going to take to move the needle to get your outcome. And that kind of leads me to this quote, which is success in life, business, relationships, and health is about solving a never-ending string of problems that gets better and more rewarding over time or with time. And that's from Dan Koh's book, The Art of Focus. Right? Yeah, here it is. Here, let's go. This one, The Art of Focus. Now, you can't experience those challenges or those problems without focusing on specific problems, because you'll be too busy getting distracted. Like I mentioned before, if you're getting distracted and not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you'll be kind of suffering from that shiny object syndrome where you'll do stuff, right? Because you're kind of hop on here, hop on here, hop on here. So your wheels are turning, but you're not going anywhere. And the things you think are going to bring you success are actually the ones that are going to keep you stagnant, because you're doing a lot of everything, but it's essentially nothing, because you're not putting in the work, the concentrated effort on the thing that needs to get done to get you where you need to go. Okay guys, so to wrap this up, I'm just going to give you an example of what this looks like in action. I had this realization before, since I told you I was trying to write on X. I realized, okay, well, whether I want to make videos or writing has to be the thing I do the most, right? Because eventually, if I want to turn that into a video, it's fine, but I can't do it the other way around, because if I make videos for the sake of doing the videos, they're not really going to serve a purpose. So I told myself I need to make sure my systems are made to write. Now I'll use Notion as an example because it's the tool I use, and I made myself almost like a template, or I guess a content tracker, to help me start with writing and then kind of modify those things as I go. And I think Notion's a pretty good example of what I was telling you guys before with you getting distracted, right? So you can make one Notion template or a Notion page that serves the purpose you need it to, or you can spend hours trying to make it better, but you're not getting anything done. So let's go into the template. So first things first, I have the stages, right? So it's ideation, writing, film, and then goes all the way down. And then obviously we start on the left, and I made 3 different templates. So they're all pretty similar, but we'll go with newsletter. So essentially I'll have my idea overview down here. I'll write stuff down that's in my mind in terms of what the big topic is for the newsletter. If I have any inspiration, I'll throw it in here in sources, and I go down, right? So title, and then on my website there's a banner on the top. So I have a banner concept spot, so where I can kind of just either put something in there that I think is going to match, or just an ideation, right? This is just brainstorming. Keep going, then I'll basically break everything down. So I'll start with the problem, what the problem looks like, and then the solution. And I always want to have something that you can actually use, whether it's actionable advice or a resource, because if not, then kind of what's the point, So then I do have a newsletter body portion at the bottom, because what I like to do is I like to have this page right here on a separate screen. So I'll have 2 instances of Notion. So on the left side I'll have kind of my overview, my problems, the symptoms, and then on the right I'll have the newsletter body, the empty newsletter body on the right, and I kind of start building it out that way. So I'll have 2 instances of Notion, hence is why the page looks like this. Also, so let's go back. If we go to the long form video one, it'll show you, well, actually, hold up, there's a mistake here. I have an updated template. So let me go to new, and we'll go to newsletter. So you'll actually see the new one. I mean, there's just one little tab that's added. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. So on the long form video portion, I have a newsletter portion, because you can kind of take a newsletter or a video, turn it into a newsletter, but it should be backwards. So from a newsletter, I build the video, and then I do have a spot on the video for a script. And it's all pretty much the same. I just wanted to keep everything pretty simple, right? I just have, okay, if I have an idea for a video, I'll put the video template on, and then vice versa for all the other ones. But this is basically just a way to kind of structure my thinking and then get it all out of my head and in here. And then for example, like the video script body is what I'm actually reading off of right now when I was building this out. So it kind of has a different, or it serves a few purposes, and it's pretty useful. Now, I'm gonna have this on my Gumroad. It's gonna be for free, but it's just an easy way to kind of host it there. And I'll put in the information in the description. That way you guys can access it should you want to. That way it's just, like I said, it's gonna be free, just a way to ideally help somebody organize their thoughts. This has been helping me out, so hopefully it does the same for you. And then other than that, guys, I think that's it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped you out. So see you later.